When you give God a full yes, you become the kind of person that God will use in amazing and surprising ways. And it starts with you giving God a full yes ahead of time. God uses, all of the time, God uses unlikely people like you, like me, like Mary, like Joseph. Stop and think about it for a moment. And nobody would have picked Mary and Joseph as a first string anything. I mean, if you're out there, you're picking people who's going to change the planet Earth. Would Mary and Joseph have been your first draft choice? Or, what about think about any of the disciples. Would any of them have been your first round draft pick? And if somebody came to you and said, hey, could you tell me who you think, 2,000 years ago, who you think is going to change the history of this planet forever? Would we have picked Mary and Joseph? Would we have picked the disciples? Or would we have been a whole lot more likely to have said, well, Caesar, man, he's a guy. Because, he's got all the power, he's got all the authority. Caesar, he's the guy who will have the impact. Or maybe Nero. I don't think it's any coincidence. In God's scheme of things, think about this, that 2,000 years later, we are still naming our sons Peter, James, and John. That was kind of exciting. It's just a thing in the back room that just went down, and it's God saying you really needed to listen to that last point. So it's like God putting the little exclamation point. He says, this is something I really want you to hear. Okay, so let's pay attention. It's probably no coincidence that 2,000 years later, we're still naming our sons Peter, James, and John, and we're naming our dogs Caesar and Nero.